Have you got everything ready to file your taxes? If the answer is no, because, your brain refuses to engage, this is for you. Taxes require a lot of cognitive power, organization, sequencing, sustained attention, decision making, just to name a few. That's basically the Olympics of executive function and not ones we've trained for extensively. Well, not for long, because today I'm walking you through 5 ADHD-friendly ways to remove friction points in the ADHD preparation tax process so you can get things done without the mental overload. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for flying with us. Have a great day. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Phenomenally ADHD. I'm your host, Zarina, ADHD and money coach, unapologetic Gen X ADHDer, and I am so glad you're joining me for this episode, especially if taxes scramble your brain. This episode is practical, as it will give you a clear step-by-step process to prepare your brain for the task so taxes stop feeling like a cognitive ambush. For brilliant brains like ours, taxes are not at all interesting, and without a spark, not much happens. Well, that is about to change. I want to give you a heads up, though, before we dive in. I'm neither a financial advisor, nor do I pretend to be one. I'm a trained and experienced ADHD coach. I have a Sacred Money Archetypes coaching certification, and I use both in a transformative process to help you thrive with ADHD and create a healthy relationship with money. I'm also a former journalist, and I'm not in the media anymore, but I still have everything within me that comes with being a journalist. And one thing I loved back then that I still enjoy a lot now is researching topics. My ADHD brain can have so much fun researching a topic. And of course, I have probably 30, 40 tabs open on my computer when I do that. But all that to say that while doing so for this episode, I was shocked because I didn't think or expect the numbers to be so high. But the reality is that 61%, that's 6 out of 10 ADHDers who have missed a tax filing deadline in the last 5 years at least once. Nearly 27% have unfiled tax returns from previous years, and around half of adults with ADHD either miss the deadline or forget to request an extension because, yes, in some cases, it's something you can actually demand. The goal today is not for you to file your tax return yourself. Kudos if you do, though. ADHD brains don't struggle with taxes because they're bad with money. They struggle because the process is vague and cognitively demanding. That's why I've put together a simple system I intuitively and repeatedly used for the past few years with clear, manageable steps your brain can sift through from start to finish, and that actually makes the process a little bit more fun. A system that gives you a roadmap that turns chaos into clarity. And in my world, mostly everything is done the ADHD way, because what I've found out is that there isn't any other way, really. And preparing your taxes the ADHD way means reducing executive load externalizing memory, and removing friction points. The 5 strategies will help with 3 real ADHD bottlenecks: activation, organization, and energy management, because yes, it is important. And all that without feeling like a random list of tips, but rather help you prepare your taxes without frying your brain. Taxes overwhelm ADHD brains and are difficult because they require your brain to do several hard things at the same time. So if something has already clicked, or you recognize yourself in what you have heard so far, share it in the comments, or you can let me know what your biggest challenge with preparing your taxes is. I always enjoy reading what resonates for you. Now, before we dive in, there's something important I want you to know. When it comes to taxes, a lot is required, like I mentioned, cognitively. Gathering information, sorting information, remembering documents, making small decisions repeatedly, sustaining attention on boring tasks, freezing in front of the unknown, avoiding a task because it's too vague. For an ADHD brain, stacked cognitive demand leads to mental overload, like we can't get out of it. It also requires considerable amount of mental energy and is therefore extremely draining. Your actions become scattered helter-skelter in the chaos, leaving you completely exhausted. And oftentimes, this happens before you even finished. That's what we want to prevent. There's something I want to share with you before I give you the 5 ways to prepare your taxes without losing your mind, because it's something I see a lot of ADHDers being unaware of, especially those with disorganization challenges. What they often don't realize is that stacks of messy papers, piles of unopened mail, not knowing where they put important documents, not only fuels avoidance, but fragments your energy. You don't necessarily feel it because it tends to be very subtle. And I've seen this in clients, potential clients I speak to on brilliance calls, but also with friends that have ADHD, even those who work with an accountant like me. And a friend told me recently that her papers are always in disarray when she brings them to her accountant. When organization is a challenge, it is so demanding that when ADHDers sit to get everything ready for their taxes, it takes them more time than it should and adds an extra load on other executive functions. It demands so much energy that it increases forgetfulness, inhibits decision-making, and keeps the chaos alive. There's also a financial cost to it because lost invoices or receipts end up making you losing money, and your accountant charges you to sort your papers so you have less in your pockets. Why does this matter? Because these money leaks that keep on adding up accumulate to considerable amounts of money until you start using the ADHD-friendly system to prepare your taxes and take care of your accounting. And I'm glad I have it. Like, I'm so glad I have this system because this year, believe me or not, I'm missing acupuncture receipts, paper, of course, and that's about $650 that I can't claim on my tax return because they're nowhere to be found. And for the life of me, I can't remember what I did with them. Did I put them somewhere thinking I'd remember? Probably. And I don't even want to think about what those money leaks would be like if I had no system where everything is sorted and organized quickly. The typical ADHD income tax cycle can look something like this, and you might be able to identify where things slide for you. So, tax season arrives. There's an intention to start, or there's document chaos, or confusion about receipts, uncertainty, avoidance, or last-minute panic. Many ADHDers don't struggle because they're unable to get everything ready for taxes. They struggle because the preparation phase collapses, which is exactly what the strategy I'm about to share helps prevent. Another tool that can definitely make money management tasks easier is the free ADHD and money diagnostic. It reveals how your brain interacts with money and where friction points show up most. I've added the link to the episode's description, so all you have to do really is click it, and the quick self-assessment is yours for free. Income taxes are often overwhelming and not at all interesting for brilliant brains. And the way you get unstuck is not by trying to force yourself, but reducing the executive load. How? With a system that turns tax chaos into clear, doable steps your brain can sift through. And that's exactly what the 5 ADHD savvy ways to prepare your taxes without frying your brain does. Here's how. Step 1, turn tax. That's really a tongue twister. So, and I've practiced it, but here we go. Step 1, turn tax tasks into clear actions. This is meant to reduce ambiguity and facilitate decision making. ADHD brains hate ambiguous tasks, and when too many things need attention, what does your brain do? It gives attention to nothing. Do my taxes is vague and really cognitively demanding, even if it doesn't look like it. That's where task paralysis can show up because you don't know where to start, what you need, where everything is, or when the deadline is. But when you narrow the lens and zoom in on just one thing, a clear action like download tax slips from CRA, IRA, or create the tax folder, or gather donation receipts, or open the tax software. Your brain is actually given a clear entry point and a defined exit, because one task is you do it, finish it, then it's like you enter and you leave. So when the ADHD brain actually has that, it's a lot easier because it brings clarity and reduces avoidance. Step 2, the tax container and checklist. That actually removes document chaos and the chance to misplace or lose important documents like the acupuncture receipts I mentioned earlier. So what you are creating here is a home for your income tax return documents so that everything that is tax related lives in one place. Your tax container can take many forms. It can be a physical folder, a box, a binder, a desktop folder, or a Dropbox folder. Instead of trying to remember the documents you need for your tax return, externalize them with a checklist that could include things like employment income, freelance income, investment slips, medical receipts, donations, childcare, tuition. The checklist means the documents are not taking up working memory space because your brain doesn't have to hold on to them. As for your tax container, it can also be a combination of two things. It can be a desktop folder and a Dropbox folder that allows you to reduce the actions and the friction. The goal is not organization yet. That's step 3. The goal is containment. Containment dramatically reduces overwhelm, and that's what we want. Step 3, the 3-stage tax system. This one is actually meant to reduce cognitive overload. Preparing your taxes actually becomes easier when your brain only focuses on one task, like in step 1, or one preparation stage at a time. The 3-stage tax system is where you break the process into 3 different tasks. Stage 1, gather. That's where you collect all tax-related documents. Stage 2, prepare. Here, you organize the documents so they're ready. Stage 3, file. Here, you enter them into the software or send them to your accountant. Your brain only needs to ask, what stage am I in now? And here's a coaching insight for you. ADHD brains actually short circuit when a task feels too big, too vague, contains too many different steps or actions. Breaking it into stages restores clarity and momentum. February is when a lot happens in stage 1 because most documents are received during that period. The way I proceed is simple. Everything that is sent by mail goes in a pile. I also have a desktop folder labeled income tax for documents that come through email. I download them and simply add them to that folder. At the beginning of March, I move to stage 2. All the documents that were mailed are sorted. Then I grab my phone, open the Dropbox app, and add everything in the tax container. And one thing that I really like, and I think is pretty cool with Dropbox, is that they have the scan function that can also do it for you automatically, so you don't have to hold the button. So you just put your phone on top of a document and it does it for you. All you have to do after that is hit upload and it's done. Stage 3 is the easier one, or the easiest one for me at least, because I send an email to my accountant, ask any questions I have, and that's it. Because ADHD brains struggle with holding multiple steps in working memory, I created a simple 2-page tax prep checklist so everything lives in one place and the process stays clear from start to finish, including the deadline they need to be filed by and a progress tracker for each task or action or step completed. When the brain doesn't know where something goes, it freezes. That's something step 4 helps you overcome. So step 4 is the unknown category. This actually helps keep momentum alive. Instead of stopping when decision-making is challenged, create an unknown or ask the accountant category you can come back to later with a clearer brain. Examples of things that fit into that category: receipts you're unsure about, documents you need to verify, slips you don't recognize. Now the brain can keep moving forward and momentum is preserved. Step 5, the energy timing strategy. So that really is to protect cognitive bandwidth. For many of us, taxes require a lot of mental energy in the form of focus, sequencing, attention to detail, decision-making, organizing. Doing them when your brain is depleted makes them feel 10x harder. Timing matters, and you want to choose the optimal time to accomplish or tackle the tasks on the 2-page tax prep checklist. I know my energy can fluctuate a lot in a day depending on what I'm doing, and I am always mindful of the cognitive bandwidth a task actually requires so that I don't have one demanding one after the other. It's not always possible, of course, to do that, but it's an important part of my planning process. Your optimal time session can be in the morning, in the afternoon. For some, it will be in the evening, especially if you're a night owl. Better windows might be weekend mornings, early in the day, after exercise. If you're not a night owl, well, of course, late in the evening is not going to work, or after a long work day, or when you're mentally depleted. Something you want to remove also is perfection pressure. Make this system your own. Experiment and see what works best for you. Me uploading all the documents might not work for everybody. I like regrouping the same or similar actions together because I don't see them as 20 different uploads, but as one upload. I prefer waiting until I've received everything, but you can start with 70% of the documents. Today, I walked you through the system. The checklist is simply the tool that helps you follow it. It also reduces the mental or cognitive overload so you can get things done quickly and efficiently. You will find the link in the episode's description. So, what changes when preparation becomes ADHD friendly? Quite a few things, actually. Less avoidance, less last-minute panic, less document chaos, more clarity, more momentum, more control over the process. Taxes stop being a cognitive avalanche or ambush. They become a sequence of manageable steps. Here is what I want you to take from this. Brilliant brains don't need pressure. They need better conditions. When the environment and the systems support your brain, tasks that once felt impossible become manageable. The ADHD brain is interest-based. It requires novelty, curiosity, creativity, meaning, and fun. Otherwise, it shuts down. So let me know what your biggest takeaway is in the comments. I really love reading what you share. If you know an ADHDer who can benefit from this conversation, please share it with them and make sure to follow or subscribe. Until next time, keep rocking that badass, phenomenal ADHD brilliance of yours, sending lots of love your way, and I'll catch you in the next episode.